Alex checked his comm pad for the third time in 10 minutes. The reservation at Stellar Convergence was in 20 minutes, and his blind date was officially 30 minutes late. He sighed, running a hand through his short-cropped hair, a habit from his years in the Terran Defense Force that he'd never quite shaken. Another no-show, he muttered, flagging down the waiter to cancel the reservation. The young Valorian server gave him a sympathetic look. "Rough night, sir?" "You could say that." Alex left a generous tip anyway and stepped out into the neon-lit streets of Station Harmony, humanity's largest diplomatic outpost in the Galactic Coalition. 3 years since he'd mustered out of the service, and he still couldn't figure out civilian life, especially the dating part. The station's central plaza was bustling with the usual evening crowd, Krell merchants haggling over precious metals, Cytherian performers displaying their bioluminescent art, and families of various species enjoying the artificial twilight programmed into the station's day-night cycle. That's when Alex heard it, a sound that cut through the ambient noise like a blade. Crying. Not the frustrated crying of a tired child, but the broken, desperate sobbing of someone at their limit. His military instincts kicked in before his rational mind could catch up. Following the sound, he ducked into a narrow service corridor between two restaurants. There, huddled against the wall, was a sight that made him freeze. A Drakari woman sat on the cold floor, her iridescent scales catching the dim light in shades of deep violet and silver. 2 small children clung to her. One couldn't have been more than 4 standard years old, the other perhaps 7. All 3 were crying. The woman's elegant dress, clearly meant for a nice evening out, was torn at the shoulder, and her carefully arranged hair had come loose from its pins. "Ma'am?" Alex approached slowly, hands visible and non-threatening. Years of working with alien species had taught him that body language was universal. "Are you all right? Do you need help?" The woman's head snapped up, revealing striking amber eyes that narrowed with instinctive distrust. Drakari were proud people, descended from apex predators on their homeworld. They didn't accept help easily. "I'm fine, human," she said, her voice tight, despite the obvious lie. "Please, just leave us alone." The older child, a little girl with scales that shimmered like opals, whispered something in their native tongue. The woman's facade cracked further. Alex didn't move away. He'd seen enough trauma in his time to recognize it. "With respect, ma'am, you don't look fine, and your kids are scared." He knelt down slowly, making himself less imposing. "My name's Alex. I'm not going to hurt you or report you to station security, but if someone else hurt you, I'd like to help." The woman stared at him for a long moment, and Alex could see the war happening behind her eyes. Pride versus desperation. Finally, desperation won. "Jennifer," she said quietly. "My name is Jennifer Carthax." She used the human first name with her Drakari clan designation, a sign she'd been trying to integrate into Coalition society. "I was supposed to meet someone tonight. A date. My first since," she gestured at the children, "since my mate passed during the Krell border conflicts." Alex's chest tightened. He knew those conflicts. He'd fought in them. "He never showed," Jennifer continued, fresh tears streaming down her face. "I waited for 2 hours. Spent the last of my credits on a nice dress, on a babysitter who left early because I couldn't pay her to wait. Now I can't even afford transport back to our apartment, and the children are hungry, and I—" Her voice broke entirely. The younger child, a boy with darker scales, tugged at his mother's dress. "Mama hungry too," he said in heavily accented Common. Something in Alex's chest, something that had felt frozen since he'd left the service, cracked. He'd spent years protecting Coalition citizens from external threats. But this was a different kind of battlefield, one where the enemy was bureaucracy, poverty, and the casual cruelty of people who didn't show up. Okay, Alex said, making a decision. Here's what we're going to do. There's a pizza place 2 corridors over, Bruno's. Best slices on the station, and the owner owes me a favor. We're going to get you and your kids fed. Then we'll figure out transport. Jennifer shook her head. I can't accept charity. Drakari honor... It's not charity, Alex interrupted gently. It's one veteran helping the family of another. Your mate served, didn't he? Defended the coalition? Jennifer nodded slowly. Then his service earned this? And more. Alex stood, extending a hand. Besides, I had a reservation that fell through tonight, too. Might as well make something good out of a bad evening. For the first time, Jennifer's expression softened slightly. She looked at his hand, scarred from combat, steady despite everything, and then at her children's hopeful faces. Slowly, she reached up and took it. As Alex helped her to her feet, the little girl smiled shyly at him. The boy had already stopped crying, distracted by the promise of food. Why? Jennifer asked quietly as they walked toward Bruno's, the children between them. Why help us? Humans and Drakari aren't exactly close allies. Alex thought about all the coalition species he'd fought beside. The Drakari had been fierce warriors, honorable and brave. He thought about the reservations humans had earned in the galaxy, not through strength alone, but through an odd tendency to show up when others needed them. Because it's the right thing to do, he said simply. And because nobody should cry alone on a space station when there's pizza nearby. Despite everything, Jennifer laughed. Small and broken, but genuine. It was a start.